Okay, let's talk about creatine. You've definitely heard the name thrown around, right? But what's the real story? Is it this incredible game changer for building muscle, or is it actually kind of dangerous? There's so much confusion out there. So today, we're going to cut right through all that noise with a super clear, science-backed explainer that just gives you the facts.
So, what is it really? Is creatine some kind of powerful superfuel for your body and even your brain? Or is it, like a lot of people worry, basically just a steroid? This is the one question that really stops so many people from even looking into it. Let's get to the bottom of it, shall we?
All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to break down what creatine actually is. Then we'll get into the science of how it gives you that power boost. After that, we'll look at the real, proven benefits, tackle those big myths head on, and finally, I'll give you a simple playbook for how to use it right. By the end of this, you'll know exactly what's what.
First things first, what even is this stuff? The most important thing to get right off the bat is that creatine isn't some foreign substance. It's something your body already has and uses every single day.
Right, so here's the deal. Creatine is a totally natural substance that's already hanging out in your muscle cells. It's not some weird chemical cooked up in a lab. Your own body makes it from amino acids, and you also get it from eating things like red meat and fish. And what's its main job? Well, it helps your muscles crank out energy for those short, intense bursts of effort. We're talking about lifting a heavy weight or going all out in a sprint.
Now, pay close attention to this slide because it clears up the #1 point of confusion. People hear the word creatine and they immediately think of creatinine, which is something they might see on a blood test. They are completely different. Think of it like this. Creatine is the fuel. Creatinine is the exhaust. It's just the harmless waste product after the fuel gets used up and your kidneys simply filter it out. And trust me, we're going to circle back to why this is so important when we get to the myths.
So how does this natural stuff actually work its magic? Well, that brings us right to section 2, how it powers you. Now, this can sound a little complicated, but don't worry, we're going to use a really simple analogy, a battery recharger, to make it all make sense.
Okay, so imagine your body's main energy source. It's a molecule called ATP. Just think of ATP as a fully charged phone battery. Every single time you do something intense, like pick up a heavy dumbbell, you're using up a little bit of that battery's charge.
And this lays out the whole process perfectly. Your muscles work hard, and that fully charged ATP turns into something called ADP, which is basically a low battery. Now, this is where creatine is the hero of the story. It acts like a portable power bank, swooping in and instantly giving that low battery ADP what it needs to recharge back into a full power ATP. This whole cycle happens in the blink of an eye, letting you push out that next rep with power.
Okay, so what's the actual payoff for having more of this rapid recharger available in your system? Let's get into the good stuff. The real, science-backed benefits that have been proven over and over and over again.
The research here is just massive. We're talking more than 1,000 studies, and they consistently show a 5 to 15% boost in raw strength and power. It helps you build more lean muscle, and even helps you recover faster between your sets. But get this, it's not just for your muscles. New research is showing it can help reduce mental fatigue and might even improve brain functions, like your short-term memory. And it's also a fantastic tool for older adults to help hold on to that valuable muscle mass.
All right, now for the part you've probably been waiting for. It's time to tackle the scary stuff. Time for a fact check. These are the myths that honestly stop most people from ever even trying creatine, but guess what? They've been seriously investigated by a mountain of scientific evidence.
Myth number 1, and this is always the big one. Will taking creatine destroy my kidneys?
Let's be crystal clear on this. For healthy people, the answer from science is a loud and clear no. We have long-term studies, some going for up to 5 years, that show no harm at all. The confusion, it comes right back to that slide we saw earlier. Taking creatine will slightly raise the levels of that waste product, creatinine, in your blood, but that's totally normal and expected. It's not a sign your kidneys are in trouble. Now, the big caveat here is super important. If you already have a kidney condition, you absolutely have to talk to your doctor first, period.
All right, moving on to the second major worry that keeps people on the fence. Does creatine make you lose your hair?
So, this whole myth comes from just one small study back in 2009. And here's the thing. It found that a hormone linked to hair loss went up in the blood, but not in the hair follicle itself. And here's the real kicker. Not a single person in the study actually reported losing any hair. Since then, tons of research has tried and failed to find this link. The evidence to support this claim? It's just not there.
And finally, we have to address the biggest misunderstanding of them all. Is creatine just some kind of anabolic steroid?
Yeah, this slide says it all, doesn't it? The difference is like night and day. Creatine is an energy recharger. Steroids are synthetic hormones that literally change your DNA. One is a totally legal, over-the-counter supplement that the FDA recognizes as safe. The other is a controlled substance with a laundry list of serious health risks. They're not even in the same ballpark. They're not even playing the same sport.
Okay, with those myths officially busted, let's get into our final section, the playbook. This is your simple, no-fluff guide to actually using creatine safely and getting the most out of it.
First up, what kind should you actually buy? My advice? Don't get sucked in by all the marketing hype for these fancy, expensive new versions. Just plain old creatine monohydrate is the one that's been researched the most, it's the most proven, and it's by far the cheapest. Just stick with the classic.
And how much do you need to take? Well, for the vast majority of people, it really is this simple. 3 to 5 grams a day. That's it. It's about what you'd get in a normal teaspoon. You really don't need these huge megadoses to get all the benefits.
Now, when you start, you've basically got two paths to choose from. You can do what's called a loading phase. That's taking about 20 grams a day for a week to really saturate your muscles fast. You'll feel the benefits in about a week. Or you can just skip that and start with a simple maintenance dose of 3 to 5 grams a day. This way is a little easier on the stomach for some people, but you'll have to be more patient. It'll take maybe 3 or 4 weeks to feel the full effects. Both ways get you to the exact same place, so it really just comes down to what you prefer.
So, the big question, when should you take it? Before your workout? After? People can really stress about this, but you know what the research says? It doesn't really matter that much. Like it says here, consistency is way more important than timing. Just find a time of day that works for you and make it a daily habit. That's the secret.
And that brings us back to the big question we started with. Now that you have the facts and the myths have been busted, is creatine a tool that could actually help you get to your goals? That's a decision that's now in your hands, and you can make it based on solid info.
And this really is the perfect way to wrap it all up. Look, creatine is one of the most effective, most researched supplements you can buy. But at the end of the day, it's just that, a supplement. It's there to support a strong foundation of consistent training, good nutrition, and getting enough sleep. It doesn't replace any of those things, but if you use it wisely, it can absolutely give you that extra edge.